Welcome back to the panel here at the Minsk Arena. We just witnessed EG take the first game against Team LGD, and it was very convincing. We were talking about if we were going to see these two teams taking it late game, seeing if they were going to maybe, let each other be greedy and see how that plays out 40 minutes, 50 minutes into the game. EG was just dominant from the get-go. What went wrong for LGD, Gods?
I think LGD got completely caught out by Fierce Witch Doctor. He was the player of that game. It was LGD who felt like they had the stronger team fight. I think they needed to prioritize taking the fight to EG. I talked about it a lot with Scant, where it felt like if they sit back, they farm. Batright's just going to move around the map, find pickoffs, and then you've got the two global ultis, the NP and the Spectre, who are just going to find kills. So I think LGD made the right decision, go for the 5-man pushes. The first one was the T1 bottom tower. It got completely turned around by EG, by Fear. Then it was the T1 mid tower. Again, it's Fear. The cast, the Death Ward, these were the two spells that just won EG this game.
It seems like Death Ward was always full channel. Like
they
had maybe on a Lena who's usually relatively good at just trying to use the Witch Doctor, but every time, even before he had Aetherlands, he was getting like Fog of War, Death Channel, or Death Ward channels. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
he played insanely well.
Wasn't like, I mean, it was the item to get, but it had nothing to do with like why the Witch Doctor
he was playing exceptionally well before he even got it.
Yeah, so Fear played the hero well, but it's also, I feel like going forward in this match, Witch Doctor now out in the open as maybe the most contentious pick, because LGD have really liked taking the support throughout this tournament. They've had it 3 times already. I think they won all those games, and, well, I mean, they won most of their games before now. They played it really well as well. The cast does really a lot of work against the push strategies. It does well in the fights. Both teams going to win it, and I think LGD were pretty surprised that EG first picked it in the last game. I don't think they saw that coming.
Yeah, the Sven kind of picked up as a pseudo response. I think the reason, I mean, they pick it obviously, it's the Warcry good against the Death Ward, and on top of that, I don't think LGD have particular core heroes that they must pick. It's not like a team like Alliance where they got to pick the Bat or the Lone Druid in the early stages. LGD, their cores are super versatile. RTK plays absolutely anything. Maybe in the mid lane, similar story.
Look at the damage. Witch Doctor did the second highest damage on his team that game.
Fear, hands down, the MVP of that game. Just through positioning, his cast, it was even outside of the Death Wards. Like, they chase further down, and he gets another cast off bouncing behind heroes, or pushing high ground. His cast is bouncing around between 2-3 heroes. It was just insane watching him play the Witch Doctor.
It seemed like PPD was always so deep, too. Like, he got so much vision for his team. Like, he was hardly ever getting caught out by sentries, like, being able to scout Ancients constantly, so they always knew where Sylar was, so they knew if they could take a fight or not. It was just the entire execution was really strong. I liked Arteezy's build on the Spectre. We were talking about it before. The
Batman build.
We're seeing the Badman build. First, you had low gun booked, influencing the pro games. Now we're seeing Badman.
This was the story of the game, the impact of these supports. And MMY never got rolling. He went for the Orb of Venom first, and that's very much like a let's pressure the lanes, find kills. He went for a very obvious early smoke around the 3.5-minute mark where he's like, okay, I'm gonna wait for the Bat to come top in, and Bat's like, Sumail was on point. He didn't fall for the smoke ganks. He found an early triple kill by himself practically. The Spectre had to finish off the third with a haunt.
But that was good because Sumail ended up dying, and then they didn't feed a streak. It was perfect. Everything just went perfectly.
The roaming Sven is something I've seen LGD do in the qualifiers.
And it works.
And it's done really well for them, but I think they're used to playing against teams that are trying to do things early on, and then they're not ready. Whereas EG are like just prepared for you to do that. Although, a counterpoint to that is the one other player we need to talk about on EG here is Sumail, for sure. Because we see his bats yet again just go into the enemy jungle, find kills, this time more than one kill. It's outrageous to me.
They did deal with Sumail very well. Like, outside of that triple kill, which was just completely caught LG by surprise, I think from there on out, they didn't give Sumail any opportunities to do anything because they 5-manned a lot, and they always initiate on him with the Yule Scepter. But that opened up Fear into the game.
Exactly. So it's like by dealing with him, that's how they end up losing to the Witch Doctor. I don't think the Bat's what wins the game, but I think that Bat performance plus yesterday's Bat performance, I feel like S4 should feel under pressure for the title of Best Bat Rider.
No. Maybe by the end of the tournament. We'll have to...
Not yet. Too soon.
All right. Alliance fans.
We do have some highlights for the match as well. I believe we're going to see some action.
I want to see some Death Wards, I hope.
The Death Wards of the Witch Doctor, because he was basically an MVP in most of the fights. Doesn't matter which point in the game you are. So let's take a look at the Score Esports highlights. Let's not look at the Score Esports highlight.
Okay, a difficult question. Was it the Death Ward or the Cask that was the MVP?
Cask.
It's
100% the Cask.
Because the Death Ward did a lot of damage, but the Cask is
that's like not even a tough question for me.
Yeah.
I think they needed all the damage from the Death Ward. Their lineup wasn't dealing a ton of damage until
I think
little
some of
bit
those
later.
fights they like win with just the cask alone. The death ward just made it like more one-sided.
Okay.
perhaps,
I
but it's
kind
the
of agree with
combo,
K-pop
but
that like a lot of the time they're both necessary. I just think that the cask is more necessary. It's like the
Yeah.
cask is
the cask is always
true.
it's more the cask with those situations where he's not using death ward and like casking heroes together. It's got such a short cooldown. It's so spammable.
You know, we
It's-
say that the cask is good against push strats, but the difference when there isn't a push strat is just that there's less creeps to stun. You're getting heroes more often, so that's fine too.
Now, the one thing I think I slightly disagree with. I don't feel like that was like easy from EG for start to finish. There were moments until that tier 1 tower push bottom from LGD. It was very much momentum going LGD's way, and even after that, they still had all the farm they needed on both Lina and Gyrocopter. They were great at farming their ancients. I don't feel like that was entirely straightforward for EG. I don't know how you feel. I mean, they played it better in the late game, but I mean, LGD to me still looked like a really strong team.
Yeah, I think LGD actually got a good trade in the lanes because EG, I was saying previously when they picked Nature's Prophet, they had a hero that could go to the off lane when it went to the jungle. They didn't really have that here.
There it is.
Oh, this is
Another amazing Death Ward
Yeah.
channel. I actually thought they were going to get more out of this than they did. LGD actually does a really good job of staying alive. Like I thought maybe, and
They're so fast.
like Phaseals and
yeah,
it very much that was actually a favorable trade for LGD and okay, Sylar actually gets away with the BKB. So
Right.
maybe it was about an even trade. You get the Spectre for like a support in your offlane and a BKB.
but it shouldn't have even been favorable. LGD should have been able to get that kill, get out, and been fine.
Yeah. So RTK.
Do you
We'll
feel
see
like
it again.
This is the
RTK
same one.
had the
Yeah,
type
let's say,
of
like, which highlight is this?
This
This
is
didn't
wait,
happen
wait,
twice.
Do you feel like RTK had the impact that we expect him to have on an offline hero? Not even specifically on the Tidehunter, but just in general?
I think he did what you can expect from a Tide. The one fight where it wasn't necessarily like a mistake of his, but that he needed to be in the right spot was that tier 1 tower bottom. When the very first big death ward from Fear, he threw the Ravage when the damage had already been done by the cast and death ward.
Right.
If he was there instantly with the Ravage and canceled death ward as soon as it started casting, LGD win that fight, and the game kind of progresses in a very different way. So I think that was one fight where he could have been positioned a bit better, whereas you look at Fear, he was in the perfect position every single fight.
Yeah, this is not a game that LGD lost because of RETK.
No.
Definitely
Okay.
not. I mean, again, I think the two comparisons are the Sumail lane early on, where I was definitely wrong. I thought the Lina would just destroy him. Didn't happen. And then there's the Witch Doctor versus the Sven. Like,
The one last thing I want, before we talk about this next draft, I feel like the one pick that LG's done in the past, and we've seen a bit in the qualifiers, was Kunkka. Kunkka to me is like Sven, but better as a support. The boat, as far as damage negation goes, is way better than what Warcry gives you. To me, it's just like a much more reliable roaming full position hero. But
yeah, I mean, it just doesn't have the short cooldown Warcry, I guess. That's the only, but
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with you. And now they take out Sumail's bat, so maybe they agree with me that this is the bat rider to be afraid of in the tournament.
So what are we looking for from LGD here? Obviously, they
Witch Doctor?
need to Witch Doctor, yeah. They need to change some things up. They need to. Well, do they need to change something up? Was
There it is.
was it the draft?
Well, both these teams
Or
will
upgrade.
change things up by their own nature. Like they're not going to have set drafts that they're going to like keep on going back to. They may pick something like a Gyrocopter again for Sylar because it's such a standard pick for him, but they're going to be very reactionary throughout, from going from pick to pick.
It's crazy to me how some of these heroes like Witch Doctor can, in just certain matchups, regardless of what the real meta is for the patch. I mean, Witch Doctor's a very good hero on this patch, but we have not seen him first pick, first ban material this entire tournament.
But
Like-
it could go there now. I mean, we were saying like maybe this has like just been a very underrated hero because actually all of the games both these teams have had it in the tournament. It's been really good for them.
It's also much easier for Witch Doctor to farm up his Ags now because whichever lane he goes to, it's really easy for him to just go and throw a quick cask if he has the mana and farm up some creeps in the jungle and get to that really fast Ags. So, and Aetherlens helps him out a lot as well. I think he's one of the better Aetherlens support purchases.
Yeah. So speaking of Etherland support purchases, I think it's really good on Venge, although usually support Venges end up having to go for 4-star for something like that. But something that EG was doing for most of the tournaments, going for the first pick Vengeful Spirits, and
Yep.
I thought it was a sign of like it's good in the push, it's good against the push, but I mean they're going for it here anyway. I don't know if that is a sign that they're going to put together a bit more of a push strategy. I don't see why they'd expect. I mean, or maybe because LGD have the Witch Doctor, they're
It's also
worried that
guaranteed counter to death
Yeah.
ward. Like you've got swap there to cancel it
Right.
off right away.
And it's so versatile. RTZ has now been able to play Vengeful Spirits, so it just opens up so many other levels of their draft without giving away too much. It's just a solid early pick.
Ooh,
And
Zeus
Sumail
will-
Zeus, this is another, it could be Universe Zeus, but it's probably Sumail Zeus. I guess it depends on the rest of the draft. But this is another hero that EG has not picked yet, that Sumail loves to play. Like when Sumail was first getting into the scene, and he was just really playing Shadow Fiend and a couple of other heroes, Zeus was the one kind of fallback hero that he would pick when they had banned out a lot of Sumail heroes when you couldn't get Storm or Shadow Fiend.
And honestly, I think like seeing this draft here, like this is what makes EG versus LGD like the most interesting matchup of the tournament because they will just pick completely different drafts going from game to game. There's no, I mean, there's kind of a metagame that kind of develops within the set series, like with Witch Doctor getting highly prioritized, but you just don't quite know what they're going to be doing going in. It's very different to like when you're going into a game with like a team like Alliance or a team with Liquid. You know that they're going to prioritize like the Jarek's Tusk, the Earth Spirit, prioritize the typical Alliance heroes.
Right.
And most teams are like that. EG, LGD are like the two big exceptions where they're just going to do their own thing, develop their own like little storyline.
If you go with the Witch Doctor metagame analysis, then the Zeus pick is also really good for that because we've seen so many times the Witch Doctor hiding away channeling. We're saying Venge is meant to swap. Well, Zeus ulti now you can see, get that swap off.
Do you feel like Venge is going to be for Arteezy
It's
this game?
up in the air. It's really
It's very dependent.
EG themselves. All they've seen is a Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
They don't see a single core hero.
Yeah.
I think EG haven't decided. So
I mean,
like,
if
I don't
we
feel like I can decide.
if we're thinking
No,
of
that's
if we're
fair.
thinking of Venge as a counter to Witch Doctor, it's more likely PPD. You don't want your carry to have to be like on
Yeah.
counter the enemy support duty.
Yep. I mean, maybe they
Agreed.
consider the Zeus sufficient enough, but yeah, it's very likely that it could be a support.
Whoa, that's an early Tidehunter.
So clearly they don't think
Well-
RTK's tide was the problem last game.
No, they actually are afraid of it. Maybe.
I think a
getting
big
banned
thing
out
about the Tide pickup is traditionally, like when I've seen Zeus's get picked up a lot against Vega, like Vega's been the team who picks it a lot, teams will instantly reply with something like a Darkseer, which is banned out this game because it's a hero that will buy the mech and the pipe for the team. Tide is the same thing. It's a natural mech into pipe builder. You don't even have to go the Blink Dagger, which is kind of becoming more and more common to often skip the Blink. So this is like the good way of dealing with Zeus at all stages of the game.
We were also saying in the previous game, before the first team fights, we thought LGD had a much stronger team fight. And I think that was kind of true, except that we underrated the Witch Doctor's impact on those fights. And this time they've got the Witch Doctor, so they can go into that similar position where they're just confident going into the 5v5 maybe.
They've got the Witch Doctor heal as well, which is something which also I think we didn't even talk about last game. I don't think Fear leveled up Maledict.
I don't think so, yeah.
Didn't
I
see
think
his
he had a
build,
heal.
but I just always saw his heal on like the mid fight. He had his heal on, and he's just blocking so much of that damage. Like he did all the damage he did without Maledict. He kept his sustained his team as well. So you look at like just Witch Doctor Tide alone. EG's got to be thinking about a plan where they're not going to have like for this game where they're not going to have the better team fight because right now all signs point towards LGD having the team fight edge.
What kind of hero we're going to see from EG to try and get some team fight on their own?
Look at that beautiful
Court.
American flag, freedom.
Oh.
Just
Wow.
We're bringing freedom to Belarus.
Where's that
I
Donald
don't-
Trump theme song? We need it.
Oh. That reminds me of
Do you think
people
Donald Trump
watching
would know where
Obama
Belarus is on the map?
gifs.
Would he be able to
GIFs.
say like that's
Um,
where Belarus is?
Probably more so than some of the other candidates. Let's not
Okay.
get into politics.
All right. Fair enough.
Good
Brian.
answer. No, but
I don't know
I
anything
mean, you
about
want some
politics.
team fight on the side of EG too, right? You've already got the setup with Avenge. If he's going to be a support, you can at least initiate that way. You've got some damage coming out from the Zeus. But what kind of control type of hero would you like to see coming out from EG for that team fight? They already removed the Void from the pool. That got banned
yeah.
out. So
EG have
there's
also
no
really
universe
liked
for it.
Enigma in this tournament. They've
Yes.
picked a lot of Enigma.
Yes.
They've done well. Well, I think they've won twice with it and lost once with it. They won when Fear played it. They lost when Universe played it. But I'm not sure that that's actually significant.
To me, that's like maybe a very likely fourth ban. I think you want to target some of those team fight options. The Void and the Darkseer already banned out. Target something like the Enigma as a fourth ban going into the next pick stage is probably a good way to kind of approach it for LGD.
And Witch Doctor's a good support to have if you want to run a jungler to just like solo help the lane. So I definitely think that there's a. Oh wait, no, that's the Witch Doctor's
The
on
Witch Doctor's
LGD
on
this
LGD,
time.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
okay, ignore what I just said.
But
Oh
I-
wow! What he got the Christmas treat Sumail did in the last match.
How
He
did he
found
get
that
that?
somewhere. Is that was the gingerbread cookie from one of the?
I would like the gingerbread cookie. Damn it.
he's pulling a Lil, just clowning around with his ending item.
To be
and
honest,
taking
there
it to
are
the next
still a
level.
lot of Christmas trees up
Yeah,
around here.
absolutely.
I don't think it's been Orthodox Christmas yet.
It has.
Oh,
was
it
like
has been?
January. It's like
It was
like a
last
week
week.
and a half
Last
ago, or a
week,
week
okay,
ago?
okay.
Yeah,
or pass.
something
But-
like that.
I'm kind of with Scan. I think most likely it's a support Venge, not partly because of what you said, where it's like if that's the reason, if that's the way they're going to counter the Witch Doctor, it's kind of makes more sense to do as a support, but also because I think EG has seen their most success with Arteezy on like true carries, like his OD, whatever it may be. I don't think they want to be putting Arteezy on something like Avenge again, even though they did win that one game.
For you? What are the signs of like when do you know it's a good OD game? because I mean,
EG have second picked it, so it's great against Tide actually. It's really good against Tide just because you're going to rack up the intel, but just by right-clicking him over and over again.
And the Fear Enigma.
Yep.
So okay, I maybe have to
Or
slightly
Universe Enigma.
as soon as I see the Enigma, it kind of make me second guess about the Arteezy Venge, just because this is a hero that will be greedy, take a lot of farm up on the map.
Exactly. I don't think it's
But-
Universe Enigma. I'm pretty certain it's Fear Enigma.
Yeah. Okay.
What did they run for Universe when they had the Arteezy Venge? Was that when he was a Nature's Prophet?
Yeah, I
Or
think
like
so.
a
think
lone
so.
Because if you want to run like the safe lane Venge, I think you want like with a Zeus mid. I think you want Universe on some like off lane damage healer, which is more like the Nature's Prophet. So
Right.
I think still looking like it's looking like an okay.
It's
OG
just
game.
gonna, and it's almost certainly just gonna be like a solo safe. A solo offlane Tide Hunter, and running like a Vengeful Spirit dual lane doesn't really. Tide is just gonna fall back to the jungle. You don't really dominate the lane as much. Like you don't get as much out of dominating the lane against a Tide Hunter because he can just fall back to the side camp and farm it. He can even stack agents and farm them. So.
What is the right scenario for LGD to pick up a Morphling, by the way?
They pick Morphling when they just think that they can withstand the mid game and just keep Sylar alive and not give enough gold to the enemy team and then just win late.
Morph's quite bad against Zeus generally.
Exactly.
it's also just not the pick against EG because EG are not going to put themselves on a timer. That's how I feel.
Exactly.
And you've got % damage from Zeus and Enigma. Like it's.
I almost
so
guarantee it'll be less picks for Sylar's hero. They might go back for something weird like a Slark or something. That's what they've been doing a lot when they feel kind of backed up against the wall. They won't pick Sylar's hero until last because I think that gives away their game plan the most. And they've done a couple of last pick Slarks this tournament and this patch. So I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out.
I think it's an okay Weaver game as well. As much as that's been kind of an out of metagame hero, I like what it brings to the table. Like it's not quite as strong as like the Morphling for Sylar, but to me, it doesn't get countered as much by like the Zeus Enigma and stuff.
Yeah.
I actually think that EG seeing the Nightstalker pick might move Enigma back to offlane because I actually think LGD picked it's a MMY Nightstalker, right?
Almost
So
certainly.
yes.
They've
oh,
picked,
they've got the tide, yeah.
so they've picked a support Nightstalker, and I think it's partially because they think there's a jungler, and so they can take advantage of that. And I don't think in the current meta that support Nightstalker is as good as it was necessarily in the previous meta. If the enemy team doesn't have, so if they then run the offlane Enigma and just have like strong lanes,
It also shows LG want to win the team fights by having it's a vision hero themselves. So, like you've got Zeus ultimate on the side of EG. Now they've got the Nightstalker vision.
And the Juggernaut response.
So far, what kind of peak point do you feel like the teams are aiming at? When do you feel like they're going to be at their best?
I don't feel EG actually picked timing drafts so much. I mean, they have certain timings where they're going to be strong, but like Scan kind of mentioned, like they're not going to be worried about draft. They're not going to draft towards more so against LGD than maybe other teams. Towards like, oh, we've got to win the game by this time, or we can't go late game. We saw that much more in the series yesterday, where Alliance versus Secret, where there was almost every game one team who had to do well early, otherwise they lose late. But
And they do go Morphling. Okay.
okay.
the incredible thing here about EG's drafts is that I don't think they're going for a push strat, but actually they kind of have push. They've got really good push. They've got the Venge with the Aura. They've got the Juggernaut Healing Ward, the
Right.
Enigma Eidolon. So it's like if they get that advantage early on, they can definitely push it. And maybe there's this bizarre thing where you and I have talked a lot about how Morphling is really bad against push strategies because you don't even come online. But then we're like, well, Sylar's Morphling can do it. And I almost feel like LGD like to pick it against push strategies.
In the reflection of the cup, you see the guy sitting on the hoverboard.
Nice, nice.
That's amazing.
It's
My
amazing.
theory on Morphling is, I mean, someone's asked, like, I remember
And
getting
I don't
asked,
know
like,
why he's not getting dizzy.
someone asked me, when do you pick
Oh,
Morphling?
there you go.
Oh, he's having fun.
I like that shot a lot.
Conditions for picking Morphling is having Sylar on your team. That's like the condition for me. If you don't have Sylar on your team, you don't pick Morphling.
I think you kind of
That's
you
all
you
there
almost
is
have
to
to you almost have to throw away most conditions for when Morphin is good or not because Sylar just plays such a good Morph. He makes it work in almost every situation.
And they ban out the AA to protect the Morphling. That's a very good ban.
Yes.
Also kind of shows that they're having still the option also in the back of their mind.
Yeah.
Universe will play that Enigma.
And it's a very different approach for LGD. Last game, they picked maybe Zero first, and this game, they're leaving it for last.
Elder Titan, I almost said it. I didn't say it in time. I was going to say they might pick Elder Titan
Sure,
for
Brian.
Universe.
Sure,
No.
Brian.
because it's the other Morphling
I
counter.
almost,
Yeah,
yes, I was going to say it. No.
The EG were,
I think
were
it's
ready
fair
for the
that's- yeah.
Morphling, and
Oh,
Oh,
God.
So sometimes you don't get the credit you deserve.
And it kind of gives them that. I think EG are looking
I
pretty good
believe
for the
you.
team fight now. I don't think they look that bad at
solid.
all.
Yeah. LGD's last pick is the maybe hero though, so like I feel like you can't even see what LGD's draft is until this last
Shadow
pick comes.
Fiend. How's the
Done.
Shadow Fiend in this matchup?
Looks like a pretty good SF
I think
game.
Shadow, maybe is one of the few heroes or few guys that are still showing how good Shadow Fiend could be, and they'll go
TA.
TA instead. I think TA is good.
Maybe he's going to be really hungry this game. I feel like he's like, Tsumil had the shiny performance last game, and he wants to have a turn.
Yep.
So is LGD going to make it to a third game? That's the question.
I hope so.
You
I wanna
hope so.
see it.
Do you think so?
I'm excited we get to see a new hero, and I'm also excited to hopefully see a game 3.
Okay, K-pop.
I think they could. The Elder Titan pickup against the Morphling makes it really hard because what LG likes to do is just have Sylar not die when they're playing Morphling, and Elder Titan is the one hero that can really help burst down a Morphling super fast. So we'll see, but I do favor EG.
I like EG's draft, but Silent Morphing just seems to win. So
Okay. Let's see if they can do it again with the Sylar Morphling. It is time for game 2 between EG and LGD with OD Pixel and Luminous.
Indeed, thank you very much. And game 2, I mean, we can already tell from the draft, Lumi, this is going to be absolutely insane. We've got your Elder Titans. We've got, once again, EG bringing that Enigma roll back in. And then, of course, the side of LGD, they get that classic Sylar Morphling. I mean, I don't know about you, but from this draft, do you feel that LGD has what it takes to bring this to a game 3 and to take EG down this time?
They've been definitely winning with these heroes, but they have to play so much better. Because, yeah, sure, they got the Sylar Morphling, but it's like a Sylar Morphling with, like, all of the best counters in the game. Apart from silences, you have, I'm going to take away all your base armor. I'm going to take away a lot of your magic resistance. On top of that, I have percentage damage from the Zeus static field, from the Midnight Pulse. And then you got Lightning Bolts, you got Global for scouting. Sure, you got a Sylar Morphling, but Sylar has to remind us why he's so good at this game. Holy crap.
9 hacked. Oh, Theben. 6. Oh, 5. Fear. MMY. PPD. Sylar. Some of the players we're going to be seeing today. Go. We're in. Dota 2. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm OD Pixel. I'm here joined by Lumi. Game 2. EG versus LGD. And one pick I want to talk to you about as well. That final pick, TA. What's up with the TA? Is this a TA game?
TA, I guess, do fine against Zeus on the mid lane. It's a hero that you could kind of give you a ton of vision. Because you got to keep in mind against Zeus in the mid game, a lot of your wards are going to get removed from the map. While traps, you could keep throwing them out. You could put them in the Roshan pit. And I think that is going to be a contention point. Also, a fairly decent hero against the Juggernaut. If you get Omni Slash, you could hide, you could pop your Refraction. So maybe this is a comfort hero for maybe. Maybe that's why they're leaning on it.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe perhaps. The other hero would have been Shadow Fiend. I thought that probably would have been bit better, but again, comfort pick probably is trumping it.
And let's see. Yeah, I think the only other time that we've seen so far in this LAN was, of course, when LGD did pick it up.
Yes.
Themselves, RTK played
They love that hero.
And it was the kind of straight to jungle Elder Titan. Universe, he's not doing any of that. He's going to start off in the lane, see how that goes down at the bottom. He's going to be up against this Morphling Witch Doctor lane at this point. As we're seeing a bit of a 2-1-2 coming out, Night Stalker for LGD is going to start up at the top, helping out the Tidehunter by the looks of it.
Yep. Tidehunter against a melee hero, he shouldn't really need help. In fact, RTC being very aggressive, he needs to really spin his way out of there. No, he'll just walk it, but taking a little bit more posture. Now PPD says, take me too, as they hit him a couple of times.
So, I mean, considering these lanes, I guess you've got to say overall it is stronger for LGD because EG obviously have that jungler. Enigma's going to be off the lane. So would you say overall we could expect LGD to come out on top of the first few minutes of the game?
If the lanes stay passive as it is right now, then I absolutely agree. And sure, RTZ is not going to have the best farm, but like you're saying, Fair will make it up. The other concern is Elder Titan. Is he going to be able to hit his level 9, 10, and 11? That's where he really starts to take off, where he can max his aura, max his stun. Or sorry, not the stun, the spirit. And for now, it looks like he's getting a decent amount of experience on the bottom lane.
Universe, he's been able to move. And I guess this is one of the pluses for him, at least, running the 2-1-2 LGD. He's not going to be super vulnerable to being taken down. It's a mid lane matchup at the moment, 9-1, 9-1. So, as you said, the TA is strong against the Zeus in the sense that you've got the refraction to avoid losing too much health. But at the same time, the Zeus is going to still farm here until at least, I guess, the level 6 point. Once you get those traps, then Sumail's got to be careful.
Yeah, I was talking to Winter about this yesterday. Maybe when maybe turns level 5, your refraction is higher damage than his Arc Lightning. You could actually start denying creeps against Zeus, but again, that's comes down to how good maybe is last hitting, which I'm sure he is exceptional at. But for now, it seems like Zeus is doing absolutely fine.
Yeah, even stuff here. And this is the thing as well. If EG are able to keep the kind of lane trades even, they're always going to have that real strength that they have got that jungler. If they come out the laning stage at the same level, bam, there's effectively just an extra hero on top of what LGD is going to have in terms of farm.
Yeah, and that jungler is one of the most game-churning, when it comes to late game team fight. Speaking of which, how many ways do you actually have for canceling that black hole? You got the Ravage, you got Casket.
You got the Adaptive Strike.
Yeah, and all of which will get...
Got the Void. So you've got a
some.
fair few.
Just
Four heroes of the 5.
All of which will get blanked by a BKB. So I imagine that's going to be one of the items that Fear will look towards to. He's probably going to start with his mech.
Be huge.
He'll get his blink probably, but BKB is a hot item for him this game.
And we can see at the moment still on the top lane, Tide getting the same amount of farm as the Jug, so this is obviously going to be very good for ROTK. Well, I guess we'll expect him to go for the same mech into Blink Dagger build. I mean, do you see any reason why this game he'd skip the mech and go straight for the Blink?
No, I think he's looking to get the mech first. It gives them the mid-game fights that they need to have, especially against Zeus, right? Thundergat's Wrath, you want to have a mech to refresh your team right after that, make them fight-worthy. I do want to keep my eyes on the mid lane because I imagine once maybe turns level 6, we're going to start at least traps laid out, and that's where Sumail, if he's not careful enough, he will give away that kill.
But at the same time, I guess if you look at kind of the side of EG, they do have that Enigma. So at that point, Fear might be a bit more liable to kind of hang a little bit closer to the mid lane, just in case TA decides to go, and he can try and get himself in there to look for a bit of counter action.
And Enigma is one of the scariest jungler to deal against if you're TA, because your refraction charges can melt very quickly against 3 to 6 Eidolons.
For the Eidolons, yeah, absolutely. Suddenly, you're going to be very, very vulnerable. And Fear's farm at the moment, as expected, going at the pace that any jungler at this point would hope to. And you've actually got a rotation for the Night Stalker coming around, standing into the jungle between two towers. And Sumail's actually going to back himself off, pick up that Soaring, so be able to give up the spam in lane. 21 for 1, 28 for 6. So, interestingly enough, as you said, TA did get to that level point where it looks like the refraction really helping her to come out on top in terms of CS.
Yeah, and now Sumail is extremely scared. He saw the Night Stalker coming in. In fact, he's got a ward. And also, when you see a Night Stalker disappearing from the top lane, he has nowhere else to go apart from ganking mid. Although he might not expect MMY coming in, the trap will give vision. In fact, Night Stalker coming in from behind.
They could try and hold this one off. They'll pop down the Spirit, looking for the sleep. The 3-man sleep here will be enough to save Sumail by the looks of it. And now looking for the turn. That magic missile
from downtown.
From another totally different town.
All right, we need to get some clap for that, because I imagine we're going to see a lot of that throughout the game. If you look at the way that LGD likes to play with this lineup, is to dive. With refraction charges, with Night Stalker, a well-placed Echo Stomp.
Yeah, really good stuff from Universe there, turning that around.
It's actually surprisingly difficult to avoid that AoE. It's huge. It's absolutely huge.
And it's something that arguably a lot of teams aren't going to be used to playing against. Not everyone's going to be playing against an Elder Titan every day.
Yeah. A lot of us, panel included, when we saw the Elder Titan pick, we were thinking him to be played as the Aura one, where you max the Aura, you deal a ton of damage, and probably that's going to be the case later on in the mid to late game, where it's really good against the Morphling, but for now he's actually leveling up his stun, where showed off the presence there. Looks like he's going to go for a 1-2-1 build right now.
And I guess the thing is, late game as well, you talk about that aura, reducing magic, and this is a team that has a Zeus as well.
Yeah.
So you, bam, take away that, and essentially this Zeus shooting out what's effectively pure damage. You're just going to melt through the opponents.
Yeah, and let's not forget that in late game, Morphling is all base armor because he has so much agility.
Yeah, against the Morphling, the pick is genius. Here we go on to Sumail. They'll get the trap slow. DDC as well. One more will do it, and that's your first blood. There'll be a magic missile into maybe looking for the sleep. They will get it. Out goes the Spirit as well. Universe does get the turnaround. And not before LGD get themselves that first blood for the TA. So 1-for-1 in the mid lane. I think LGD will be a little bit happy, of course, getting that first kill.
I'm no TA expert. We need Waga for that, but unfortunately he did not have Maelstrom. That would have made the kill much speedier. But obviously, the reason that he got more refraction as well as side blaze for laning presence and last sitting against the Zeus.
It did look like the TA didn't get to spend any gold though before she did die after getting the first blood. So in terms of gold, obviously
you're so happy to get the first blood.
Yeah,
not only that, you force a TP, another TP from Universe going to the mid lane. So his economy is
smoke and go. We've got that black hole ready and waiting. PPD and Fear. What are they going to look for? They know that RTK is fairly aggressive here with his farm.
Yeah, so, you know, you get the Kraken Shell, you think that you're pretty immortal. You can't Kraken your way out of a black. You cannot against a black hole. Just give him
Yeah,
another
here
rip.
we go. There's your black hole straight up onto the Tide Hunter. He's become the hunted. And EG there with the pickoff. Arteezy getting the kill as well, so a bit more gold onto their position 1.
Oh, also, very nicely spotted. Dr. House finds a ward behind the tower, and that will protect him very much so.
We are seeing at this point that maybe is really breaking away in this mid lane. We're talking a gold deficiency at 1k for Sumail on the Zeus.
Yeah, we're starting why the TA pick
Yeah.
is much better than the Shadow Fiend that myself as well as the panel thought of. As a Shadow Fiend, you don't get this explosive early game killing power against the Zeus. Sure, you'll trade farm and you climb ahead probably in net worth, but if you're looking to shut down Sumail, and that's one of the players that the panel touched on, they need to shut down. They're doing just that.
Oh, Universe. I'll be in trouble. The trap slows there. DDC as well with a follow-up void in there. Another trap drop down. They'll move forward. They'll get the meld hit in, and they'll put the Ravage for this one. They just want the kill, and they'll get it.
But they're
Oh,
trapped.
Sumail, he's actually been silenced here by the crippling fear from DDC. He could be in trouble as well. The trap slows there is maybe going to dive. No, they're going to play it safe. RTZ is moving in and doesn't have the mana here for the Omni Slash. I imagine he might have stick charges. But on the jug, I only had 1, so wouldn't have actually had the Omni Slash, but it was just the potential of the scare that caused LGD to play it safe, and rightfully so. They get themselves the kill, they get out, they do pop a Ravage, but at the same time, if Game 1 was anything to go by, the pace of this matchup is probably going to be quite slow, so not having the Ravage for this period,
Yeah, you're
not
fine.
the biggest of ones.
You're fine. I think actually in the early game, you want to be using those one-man Ravage.
And you know that there's no black hole at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know that potentially EG themselves aren't going to look for
I
big
mean,
fights.
same thing for Fear, right? He's going to be looking to use one-man Black Hole just to secure kills. So I think in the early game, you do want to be using your big ultimates to grab those kills. Really, no advantage to just kind of holding it and just threatening to use it.
And talking about maybe, we know from his playstyle, he is an absolute playmaker. We've seen, it was on a Shadow Fiend game earlier this LAN, he went for the straight blink.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping he's going to go for the
See
straight
a
blink
blink?
for this TA, and I imagine he's saving up for that right now. Do you think we will see the blink first time TA come into this
You
game?
know, it's very good against Zeus, against Revenge, even against Enigma. You just blink up, let him know who's boss. I'm actually not too sure whether he'll go for it. Because the one thing I do want to point out in this game is that in normal games where there's a TA involved, you see the supports stacking the Ancients quite a bit. It felt like the priority for LG, and they do have the stacks going on. It feels like the priority in this game is to shut down Zeus more. So I feel like the economy game is secondary in terms of importance. They just want to make sure that Sumail isn't zapping them with a 12-minute 8th lens or something like that. So, and I feel like they have accomplished not only starting in Zeus, but also keeping up in terms with the economy for maybe. So I think he's having a good game. And if you look at his current gold, he is...
he's racking it up.
Yes, saving up to that Blink Dagger. I want to see a Blink Dagger.
I want to see a blink. I mean, obviously, there's the potential for it to be kind of the Mithra to the Deso.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's maybe. He loves his blink dagger on these kind of initiating mids. So we may see him do that PPD here with an Invis rune. He's going to head towards the top. Pings are coming out onto the Nightstalker. If they can get Artur around the corner to come in with his Omni Slash. And if they can catch DDC away from the crease, they could try for it. But there is backup here on LGD. I think LGD realize something might happen, and in fact, they'll jump in.
What
And
backup?
LGD just can't react quick enough. Instantly, the Omni Slash destroying the Nightstalker, and he'll go for
Oh!
the TP out. Oh, ho, ho. One more hit, and the man might have been dead.
Yeah.
Very, very close call, and EG get away with it.
Salah on the bottom lane, still rising away. That's the one player we haven't really touched on too much. There's so much action elsewhere on the map. We cannot forget that he is
We cannot.
he is the Morphling player, and he is getting free farm,
84
right?
CS at 11 minutes.
He's only eclipsed by your own mid player in terms of net worth, but that's a first world problem in my book, you know.
Radiant's middle tower is
And
Nah,
that
it's
is
the
Blink.
Yeah,
All right.
the Blink TA as we expected this game from maybe. But yeah, I mean, we forgot about Sylar. EG, I mean,
They
for their
haven't.
benefit, I hope they haven't,
They
because
haven't.
we've seen what Sylar does when he gets forgotten about. He becomes this incredible, unstoppable late-game force. So EG, I'm sure they have a plan, but they're certainly going to need one against this Morphling, because we've seen many teams just let Sylar get out of control in the laning stage, and he'll know exactly what to do with that farm. Get his Lincolns, probably then build straight into the E-Blade, and then he'll just start straight up joining the fights, and EG will kind of wonder, hang on, why did we let that Morphling get to where he is now?
Yeah. There used to be an old trend about Chinese Dota where, like, if you want to win a game, just pick anti-mage. And I feel like for LGD Sylar, it's like, hey, if you want to win a game, just pick Morphling. And we'll see. Again, let's not forget that EG has a ton of counter towards the late game.
They really do.
They got the Universe, the Astral Aura. They got the percentage damage. So it's not all a walk in the park for the Morphling, but he's definitely got the farm and the momentum to really make it a game for him. Mid lane, PPD, Mai actually just got pincered in by the Night Stalker.
Especially since the NS, he's got the Tranquil, so he can really close in onto PPD.
When a TA just throws a trap in your face like that, you're like, okay, well,
Yeah, all
I'll just let him get the tower.
Something's up. Someone's looking for me. Yeah, PPD playing it safe.
So, you know, if you look at the way that these two games has been progressing, last game it was really EG that's calling the shots. And sure, you do see EG making a couple of ganks here and there, but overall, I feel like LGD, that's, oh, okay. Hold, I thought they were making a big move. As I was saying, I feel like it's LGD that's really getting all the ganks going their way, even though it's EG leading a kill. And this would be big for EG now, because they do need a little spike in their economy to make that comeback.
Was that a smoker from LGD? We see them grouped up around their Ancients. No, they were just moving around as a group.
Perhaps, I think they were
I don't
farming
think they could get over there quick enough. Oh no, they're going to smoke and go.
Too late, I think.
It's not the quickest of Roshans.
Yep. You're also fighting
So
into
they could
Black
get
Hole.
there. I think that they are going to get there.
Trap. They will see it dropping too low. I don't think they could get it in there in time. They will
Oh,
try.
maybe Blix!
Oh,
Oh, he doesn't get it. Oh, no, he killed it. Maybe gets the kill onto Roshan, but Juggernaut, Arteezy will pick up the Aegis. There's your Ravage. The car's got to Artur. Gets swapped back to the pit. Fear with the two-man black hole, holding them in place.
Death
Don't
Ward,
goes
though.
Raven. No, the Death Ward. They're pummeling by EG. EG have got to get themselves out the Omni Slash on 10-man wide. It will be a 2-for-2 at the moment. EG trying to move forward for more, looking for RTK. DDC and Sylar coming back in. There's the silence onto Arteezy. Sylar's there as well on the Morphling, looking for the Jug kill. Will find it. But Arteezy, the Aegis Snatcher, will be back, and they do manage to finish off DDC trying to run away off the back of that. So overall, EG coming out on top in terms of the trade, only because of that and the fact that they did get that Aegis on Arteezy's Juggernaut, but a good attempt from LGD and a very flashy Roshan steal, and maybe would have been, literally, maybe, would have been a different situation if he'd got the Aegis as well.
Oh,
But
it would have been
Arteezy, he was spamming that. He was like, nope, this is my Aegis. Click, click,
Everybody
click, click.
was spamming that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually hard to argue whether who came out ahead. Sure, EG. It's a 3-3 trade at the end of the day, but they got the last hit right for the Roshan.
Arteezy.
Okay,
Oh,
there's a
and
swap.
onto maybe, needs some help. RTK trying to come in, and there's the more TPs from LGD. They're trying to save this man, but he's looking to die. Blade Fury is already there. They'll take down the TA. Arteezy caught behind enemy lines now. Crippling Fear here. He's trapped between them all, but Universe looking for the Storm. Won't catch anyone, but it does force LGD back. He has got the Maledict on him. Arteezy should pop, but PPD meanwhile finds a double kill as he finishes
Oh, he
off
dodges
the
last
Blade
hit.
Fury. He dodges the last tick of Maledict. He's going to keep himself alive. Arteezy there with the Blade Fury. Samael chasing down for more. They've found 3. Can they find themselves a 4th? DDC just a little bit too speedy. He has got the Thunder God's Wrath, but he hasn't got the mana to do so.
He's
Wouldn't
going
have
to
been enough
teleport back to
damage
base
anyway.
for mana? Is that what he's doing?
I swear, wouldn't be enough damage.
I don't think so.
It's
He
only
might still
level
try
2.
for it. You know, you give him the... Okay, never
Nah,
mind.
he's a smart man. He's a smart boy.
Sometimes you just Zeus O for like the signal, you know? He's like, hey, take it. Not him though. He's
And that,
He's a
I mean, that
calculating man.
was a painful fight for LGD.
It
Coming
was.
off the back of a fight that wasn't great, but it wasn't awful, and then suddenly just throwing away 3 heroes. You lose your tier 1. With the pushing power of EG, they're going to look to do some damage here to the tier 2.
the worst part about that fight is like they lost us the TA 2 fights in a row.
Or maybe. Does he want to try and go for the players? He's got this blink.
No, they're gonna
Fizz
farm, I think.
relatively exposed now. He just TP's out.
Yep. Losing your TA 2 fights in a row, especially when he's gotten the blink dagger. Normally when you go blink, you expect to, you know, get a lot of things done. And you keep up economy, but it's not the greatest, and we will see TA start to fall off. And also, more importantly, Arteezy not dying there. I think they would be
That was the
okay
big
if they
thing.
got Arteezy. But
The fact that I think that Blade Fury literally just came off cooldown
Yeah.
as that last tick was about to hit.
Arteezy going for the Battle Fury build, looking to take this game late, recognizing the fact that, hey guys, these LGD lads are very, very farmed.
The thing
They
is, though,
keep
it's
up.
still going to be pretty hard to kill Sylar, and yet
Yep.
he is a morphling man.
He's got his Lincolns as well, so
Yeah.
he will get harder to kill. With that said, though, I think Lincolns this game, if you want to pop it, you got the Arc Lightning, especially with Aether Lens down the road, it will be an easy pop. It's more like, you know, that will give him the time
reaction
to,
time,
yeah,
so
to
bam.
replicate out or to strength morph or whatever. I think our observer did point out that Venge had like 2K gold. Last
PPD
time we
did.
checked. Yeah,
I mean,
so he's a rich man now. He's gonna go for Vlad's.
PPD, is that really you? This is, It feels like a different map.
You know it's him because if it's another support, that's a Hannah Midas or
That's true.
halfway
And he's
to an
thinking about the
Axe.
team, PPD.
He's thinking about his boys. He goes Vlad. And that will be great for Juggernaut, you know?
Yeah, it really will. Then let's see what the next point of plan is. LGD, at the moment, they're keeping very safe just around their own Ancients, not wishing to separate. Put the Thunder Gods Wrath, see what's going on now. As LGD just cleaning up this mild Ancient stat that they've got going on here. Hood now on top of the mech here for Fear.
Yep, so one thing that we do have to watch out for as we approach the late game is that the shotgun on Morphling will be coming online. So that's why that the Morphling, or sorry, the Enigma is starting to protect himself with the Hood. And also, Hood's just a good item overall. And of course, the Juggernaut is going to be able to protect himself through Blade Flurry. One thing that we do want to look out for is perhaps a Glimmer Cape pickup on one of the EG supports. You see the Morphling near you, you pop a Glimmer on yourself or an ally, then suddenly the Morphling killing power is a lot less effective.
More Fear. Should be fine, yeah. The trap slow did come in. LGD not wanting to go to the the Deso now on this TA. So if maybe does get right up in the face of some of these heroes, he will be able to 3 or 4 shot them at this point. Well, they've caught out DDC and moving in with the Steep the Burst from Samael as well. DDC gets left behind by the team and EG will be there to clean him up.
Can we quickly check the skill build of our Elder Titan, because we don't see that hero often. It looks like he's actually maxing the clap. And the fact that, he's been in these early team fights, it's quite effective, right?
Yeah, this is the maximum input really at this point.
Universe also going in for a Hood, so I guess he's going for the Aether Lens?
Or
is it going to be a Glimmer?
Yeah, Glimmer on the ET.
The thing about Glimmer on ET is that he's going to get very mana starved, because Glimmer Cape does cost quite a bit. So I don't know. I don't know which one, because his range is also very high, so I'm not sure whether he needs the Aether Lens. We'll see. Universe knows better, I guess. The one thing I'm very surprised about is the lack of traps into the Roshan pit by our TA player. I mean, the reason that the Roshan sneak was even possible was due to, the lack of traps. I can't tell if Sumail's been just walking there constantly, just clearing up traps if there were traps there, but so far I haven't really seen the TA traps being littered around the map as they should be.
Yeah, at the moment they've got a few over their side. They're just looking to maintain control. You can see the traps around the top rune. And
again, to be fair, it's really hard to keep it up against Zeus. He'll walk around
Zeus
bolt and free 1 gold.
10-4 at the moment. EG, the one's ahead in terms of kills, but you see that net worth, and it is LGD who are the better farmers at this point.
Yeah, and unlike last game, LGD is more than comfortable to just sit back and just wait for EG to come at them with the aggression. Yeah. This is how LGD want to play Dota.
The one thing that might change this kind of positioning on the net worth leaderboard will be the fact that obviously RT's now with the Battle Fury.
Yeah.
He can certainly step it up.
Definitely can.
And we could see him catch up with some of these cores on the side of LGD, maybe in Sylar, the ones rocking the top. And coming to Suzuki, I mean, this TA, she's got the blink, she's got the Deso.
Sylar might actually just die here. He does have the Lincolns, but he has no way for him for 4. And okay, I was gonna say he doesn't have a refraction or replicate up.
He gets the replica on his way back, but they know they're gonna actually take that down. I think they realize he's on his own now. The question is, can they actually catch the real Sylar?
He'll just wave into trees and TP. He has Lincolns, so he's good.
But yeah, TA, what do you think Maybe's gonna go for next one? In the
He's
short
gonna go
term,
for a
he's
kill
going for
right
a
now.
kill. Yeah, straight onto Fear. Bam!
Where do you go?
Disappeared. Maybe now. So 2.2k gold. Does he need a BKB or can he afford to just go for something like a Chrysalis and continue to just build deeps?
I think you want to go for BKB. A ton of magic damage this game. The clap that we talked about from Universe, how is he expected to actually stick to anybody and keep right-clicking if that AoE is so huge?
Yeah, that imminent threat's always there from
So
Universe.
that's probably the safest item that he will go for. If he wants to go for something aggressive, the Chrysalis, like you suggested, even like Manta or SNY for more movement speed is not bad. But it will surprise me greatly if it's not a BKB. Although, with that said, he is actually saving up quite a bit of gold. I wonder what his actually, because if you want to go for BKB, you can pick up your Ochre Club right now.
Another man that was saving up the gold was Sylar on his Morphling. I can imagine he is saving for the Eagle Song into the E-Blade. If we can,
Sure.
We'll check out the Morph. Yeah, so he's just picked up the Eagle Song. So he is very, very close to that E-Blade.
Yep. And that's where EG really needs to start sticking up, as tier 3s. Can't just allow Morphling to split push and then, oh, but that's, a free hero kill. I'll take it.
EG ready to group up, look for the objectives. Bottom lane though, LGD will find a tier 1. There'll be a swap onto RTK. I'll put the mech. That's not going to save him. He does manage to walk off the magic missile with the Kraken shell, but still goes down. The full 5-man force of EG, much too much for a single Tidehunter. But the split push is strong.
LGD's
You've got
getting way more
Sylar
out
going
of
for the
this.
tier 2 top, forcing out the fortification. Nearly gets it. And adaptive strike onto RT's. He's got to be a little bit careful. Will waltz it off, and that's going to be Sylar just buying space to get the town. At the same time, bottom lane, they're looking to lose another tier 2 here. As you really can't underestimate the split push capabilities of the TA Blink and the Morphling with the escape mechanisms that he's got as well.
Yeah, maybe just gets himself back home. Oh, actually, this could be dangerous. He's out of there. Because he can't just get Omni Slash. And if 1 or 2 crits happen, he can just get popped. And never mind. He has Linkets. He's not afraid of the Omni Slash.
No, he's not. In a 1v1, it's always going to be pretty much impossible for Jug to take him unless he makes a big mess up, the Morphling. And in terms of item pickups, a BKB was the item now done for TA. E-Blade's been completed by Sylar. And in the end, Universe on his Elder Titan, he did decide to go for the Ether Lens.
All right. I mean, he's got normally a ton of range on the hero already. So I'm very curious in terms of the logic behind this item. Obviously, the other part about Aether Lens is that it just gives you a ton of great stats, right? The mana is very welcome. The magic resistance, as I mentioned, is very good against the Morphling as well. So.
And I mean, as well as you said, the fact that this is a hero that maybe can have some mana issues, and he did opt to build Treads rather than Arcanes, so we didn't have that kind of boosted up mana pool. So this gives him a bit more to play with that Ether Lens. And I guess also nice just to be able to throw the Spirit out a little bit further. So when you're looking to combo, you don't have to throw it, then walk it out, and then stomp. You can pretty much throw and channel the stomp straight away. And smoke from LGD in return. Let's see if they can find it. RTK on the front. Oh, gets swapped in. Oh, he gets the jump. For Ravage onto 5. They'll throw the Depth Shot, the E-Blade onto Samael. LGD maybe popping the BKB. He's going to be the only one caught here in this black hole. But the Death Force being laid down for the high ground. RTZ going in with the Omni Slash. Will find 1 kill. Going up to the high ground as well. Artur. Blade Furying down MMY with the Thunder Ghost Wrath. They'll find themselves in third. EG. 3 for 1 there. Can they get the sleep on Sylar? They can. I don't know if can they actually get this kill.
Okay, I gotta be careful as well. He's got E-Blades.
They get the Malefice down.
He's trying to wait for him to the left side. E-Blade going to Juggernaut.
He is going full strength this side, and he's got a lot of stats to play with, so we'll be able to wait for him up to the high ground, and he's out. Universe there hoping to find the stomp. We saw there how far he could just chuck out the Spirit with the Ether Lens. Okay, absolute country mile, but 3 for 1. EG find the good trade. A little bit unfortunate for LGD because it was a 5-man Ravage.
Yeah, that fight started with the 5-man Ravage. I wonder if the silence from the Night Stalker was not casted onto the Juggernaut. And I feel like he should have been the priority, right? Like, you throw the silence on RTZ, you kill him very quickly. Because what happened instead was RTZ just let his ultimate go, and suddenly everybody died.
Yeah, and the fact that the first person to die was maybe on the TA. And at this point, that's the person you're looking to rely on for the physical damage.
Yeah. So now Roshan is happening. RTK is thinking about jumping back in, but just can't. Uh-oh, RTK.
RTK. Well, looks like they're not going to bite today, EG.
Yeah.
They'll leave him off. Oh, throw another E-Blade onto Samael, moving forward. BAM! Samael taking it to the face there with the double barrel from Morphling.
Might not be over yet. PPD looking on the run.
Oh, there's the coconuts. PPD, he's not a fan. They're in onto the Avenge, and that's a double kill for Sylar. And we've been saying it, this is the man that you've got to be scared of. You've got to be scared of this Morphling. He's 3-0-2, hasn't died yet this game. This is checking out to be a game that Sylar could win pretty much purely with his Morphling pick and performance.
All right, let's give some credit to the rest of LGD, boys.
I mean, we've got to, but it's the Sylar Morphling. As you said, it's kind of that pick that...
You want to win a game?
You pick the Sylar Morphling.
There you go. RTZ, you know, quietly has been picking up a ton of farm as well. 4-0 Nate, looking pretty good.
There's a Crystallis now, maybe. both of the cores of LGD now really going to be able to pack a punch. You've got the nuke potential from the Morphling. You've just got the physical damage output from Maybe. It is looking scary for EG, but we have seen that they can very much still win these fights. If RTZ gets the opening for the huge Omni Slasher onto one of those cores, then EG can take the swing.
As it goes more and more into the late game, the Morphling factor is there, but let's not forget about the Night Stalker, because he is halfway towards his Aghanims. I'm sure Pimlico later on will be switching and toggling to...
He's only 800 gold away.
Yeah. He'll be, we're going to see LGD having control of the map. And you see that LGD wants to, the Venge wants to start the fight by swapping one in. Oh, he's going to have a much tougher time finding that swap.
RTZ being trapped, slowed up here. He does have backup. EG and their full force are coming down this top lane, and well, Silas going to go in, replicate straight out.
Yeah.
Universe won't be able to catch him in time there with the sleep, and again, just throwing out these nukes onto RTZ. Just look at the damage that this Morphling does.
Well, look at the Zeus too. He's like, hey man, I heard too.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, they're giving DD some smart.
But it does seem like a very smart pick. We saw actually just there Morphling, of course, when he morphs to kind of full agi, the Witch Doctor heals him in no time at all. And then when he transfers it back into strength, the percentage of health that you've effectively just gained over that short matter of time is huge for Sylar. So that works really nicely. Also the Night Stalker, really smart against the Zeus, because you know that the Zeus is going to take control of the map in terms of warding. But if you get the Ags up on the Night Stalker, then the fact that you're lacking that vision doesn't really matter, because you're punishing the vision of the enemy. And you're essentially this portable ward that, good luck de-warding a Night Stalker, Zeus.
It goes both ways. Like, EG will get limited by the vision of the Night Stalker Axe, but they also have Zeus. They have Vengeful Spirit, as well as the Astral of the scouting from the
so
Elder
they've
Titan.
got the scouting. Yeah.
You could even use your Eidolon to go left, right, center. So I feel like both teams will have some late game vision to play with. Let's not forget about the LGD traps that you could throw out. And
yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah,
both teams are playing
I think
quite a
they
bit.
definitely thought about the vision game here. I think both teams did.
Yeah.
Maybe with that final pick TA, as you said, LGD have that kind of bonus where, it can still be de-warded, but at really a minimal loss for the side of LGD.
So the way that Fear has been itemizing for himself, he's definitely not itemizing for the black hole. He's looking to buff his team much more. Now we got the trifecta of Greaves, Pipe, plus of Vlad's over the Venge. So the team is as tanky as it comes, right? We talked about how good the BKB would be for Enigma, but he's not looking to hit a perfect black hole. He's looking to provide tankiness to his team. The shortest live ward ever.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Wardy. Well, I think as well, just looking at the Morphling, he's starting to stockpile the gold. So I think normally Sylar goes for the Butterfly next, I want to say, after the E-Blade in his build.
I think a Scotty would be good this game. Just tank up.
I think he just normally at the top. I can't remember if he gets the Butterfly or the Scotty first.
Butterfly would be exceptional against Omni Slash
And
Evasion.
MKB's on the side of EG, unlikely to happen. Maybe Artor eventually.
Oh, RTK again being ganked up.
Oh, this man. No chance for him here.
Is
Pops the
walking him
mech.
out?
The charges. Not going to keep him alive.
He looks so squishy again thanks to Elder Titan.
Exactly. The Spirit just chasing him down, keeping that constant essence or a debuff on him.
So normally you would push after you pick off. Oh, he's done. All right, they're out of there.
Okay, Fear nearly getting blown up there by Sylar.
He would totally die without that pipe. So good on him, but they're not out of the woods just yet.
PPD's in the woods. That could be an issue for him.
All right, PPD's the one that's running. He's like, okay, that's a Morphling I'm running into. I'm out. So back to the item choice. It's BKB. So I was making the point that if you go Evasion, that's good against Arteezy, but there's so much magic damage in the game. If you go Scotty, you're getting more stats, but that's Zeus says, all right, and so does Elder Titan. So he's going to just go get magic immunity and essentially wave into the fight and just start going into the Zeus, the Venge, the Elder Titan's face.
I mean, so yeah, as I was saying, with the Diffusal Jug, I guess with the Manta as well, it's kind of nice against the Morphling in the sense that you can jump in. If Morphling wave forms in, most of the time he's going to have that replicate to get to. But if you can get the stuns through and burn through his mana pool, suddenly Sylar's effectively a lot less tankier because he's going to be able to shift a little less into strength.
Yes. Also, you have the added benefit of purging a silence off of yourself from the Night Stalker. He already has the Manta Style for that, but sometimes, especially with RTZ, he likes to use Manta Style for just for farming, scouting, things of that nature. So just having a second benefit of dispelling is great.
Full updated list now for TA. Maybe is definitely going to be able to, well, not necessarily one-shot potentially, but two-shot some of these squishier heroes on the side of EG.
That's true. Although, it seems like we're saying it like, oh, maybe he's going to do so much teamfight damage. And then at the start of teamfight, he just gets blown up every fight.
Yeah, if EG can take out the TA straight away, that's a huge worry off their back.
Yeah. How do you deal with this morphling, though?
I think that we've seen them try and deal with his kind of split push attempts, but every time Sylar's been able to escape.
Yeah. The good thing for EG is that they're the one that's controlling the map, although maybe for not much longer, because here comes the Night Stalker, and they see absolutely nothing.
DDC with the wraparound, but EG, the full 5-man are there. Now moving RTZ, looking to finish off the tier 2. Still, top lane Sylar working the way around with the morphling. So they'll just let the tier 2 go. You've got RTK working on the pressure on the bottom. RTZ coming around, maybe seeing if you could catch out DDC, but of course with the superior vision advantage here, DDC going to be able to keep himself in the shadows and just stalk Artor. As Artor blinks away, keeps.
It is very difficult to kill RTZ. He's got Manta, he's got spin,
Diffusal.
he's got Blink, Diffusal. Oh, they're going to cancel that TP. That's great.
That's a bold TP from
Ravage.
Artor when he knows that DDC has got that Axe. Look at the blink off. RTK has got a
Ravage
Ravage.
this.
If they want to commit for this kill, they could certainly try for it, and they will. They know that Artor's alone. He's already used a fair bit of his escape mechanisms, and he could be in a lot of trouble. Will defuse off the Crippling Fear.
That's a Ravage blown.
Backup is coming in from the side of EG.
Purge it off again.
And the Pike
Purge it off again. No spin.
taking a lot of the damage here. Now they'll try and turn. Get the Malefice off onto DDC. Throw back the caster on the Witch Doctor side. Popping the BKB on the front.
Okay.
No, the damage from maybe there on the TA does manage to get themselves the kill onto the Jug. In comes Sylar, wave for him moving forward. Getting the punches out, the slow onto Zamelo, throw down the Thunder Gods Ralph, trying to turn again the TA trap onto 2. The bounces will go between the two heroes. Oh,
Only on heroes.
maybe just ripping through the Zeus, jumping forward with the BKB. He's going to get the clean up here by the looks of it. There's buybacks already on 2, but Fear, he's going to go down as well. Double kill for maybe.
He's got
the
Omni
TA
Slash.
doing so much, and here's your Omni. Here's your Omni, the buybacks, they're coming out from all of the side of EG. They've got a fair bit of money to play with after their previous tournament victories, Summit, and now RTZ. He's looking to use it to capitalize on the kills, and he'll get them. They will get a double kill. So with the buybacks, they do force back LGD. He's got a blink.
All right.
So is Maybe, and Maybe is out. Right, so let's have a look at the fight recap there, because it'll be interesting to see how the gold did swing, and it does still swing to LGD, because we saw triple buyback come out from EG there to get the 3 kills. But a very, very costly exchange there for the side of Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, unfortunately for EG, they don't really get big objective out of it, right? Roshan is, I don't think it's back yet. No, it is back.
So
okay, if they get this,
scouted, though.
I want to say it's sort of worth it because they also got rid of the gem from the Night Stalker.
They did get the, but I mean, we saw that just the fact, those buybacks were not cheap.
Yeah, they were
not cheap, so this is really going to put kind of a bit of a slowdown on
scouting
EG's
Rosh or anything. They're not going in for it. And there's a pesky Morph Illusion just camping the Roshan pit. All right. I feel like EG need to get more out of that buyback, apart from just the 3 kill and the gem. And yeah, we do see a fight where if Maybe gets to do what he wants to do, you are losing the fight.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. In terms of disabling him through the BKB, you really are relying on the black hole or just killing him straight up with the physical damage from RTZ on the Juggernaut. And if you don't, yeah, he'll jump in, 1-shot, 2-shot your heroes.
Yep.
And it is very scary. And you've got to remember, that was a fight as well that they didn't even have the Ravage out. Imagine if RTK still had the Ravage then. That would have been bam. I think you're getting some diebacks as well on EG.
To be fair, the fight also started with RTZ not using his ultimate. That could have changed the outcome of the fight, especially let's say if Witch Doctor just died to the Omni Slash. So it's somewhat hard to say.
Or maybe with a DD. Easiest Rosh of his life here.
Yeah. How much is he critting for?
1K by the looks of it.
Roshan has fallen.
That's rather low crit for a double damage, but Shiva's coming out.
And Sylar, he's got a cheese as well. I mean, still, this Morphling. I would not be surprised if we see this game finishing and Sylar just doesn't die at all. Regardless of whichever way the game goes, it's just he plays this hero so much to a T. He knows exactly his limits as a Morphling.
Yeah, I don't think he actually even came close to dying. Maybe he was chased like by 4 or 5 early, but he just, you know, he's a Morphling. He waved out. So TIE Hunter has the Shiva's Guard. Apart from being a great TIE Hunter item in general, this game more important against the aura of Elder Titan, just giving you raw some plus armor. And unfortunately, ROTK is always on the receiving end of a 4-man smoke gank. So just tanking up is always good.
Arteezy, what does he build for next here? Is he himself going for the Skadi on this
It seems like so.
Diffusal Skadi?
He's been getting defensive item, but I think getting let's say a Lincoln Sphere on top of this is
Would
maybe
be
an
too-
overkill.
Yeah.
You need to actually punch a bit, and Scotty does help. So, if you tell me in terms of how well this universe Elder Titan has been working out, and obviously the collapse has been good early on. The aura's been setting up some skills.
Pretty huge. Yeah.
The ultimate obviously combines very well with the black hole if you catch more, but
That's the thing. I mean, we haven't really seen that kind of follow-up wham bam.
Right,
But
so-
if they do get it, it is going to hurt LGD.
I mean, if you would just sit here and with this crabs being showing
Oh.
up, thank you, production.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
that's good.
Okay.
I was gonna ask if you would rate this universe Elder Titan. Are we gonna see in Game 3? You think, just from this performance so far?
I think it's always interesting to see something a bit different come out, but I don't know. It's hard to say at the moment. There could still very much be that one play that goes bam.
Right.
That's why you have the Elder Titan here.
Okay.
I mean, but there's no doubt we have seen his stomps save some of the heroes early on. In the laning stage, we saw him kind of just stop LGD from making the proceed in. But as soon as these BKBs have come out on the cores, then it's much harder for Elder Titan to really get his job done.
Yeah. I mean, EG is still leading in terms of kills, although, looking at the games going right now, it doesn't feel like that's the case. If you want to switch to Dire Vision, they see nothing. Like, it's the map's dark, they're scared. If you overstep a moment, that's where you get shotgunned by, Sylar. Uh-oh, RTZ. He gets out, but
Meanwhile, Sylar casually taking a tier 3 top.
yeah.
Thank you, EG.
They just see nothing. It's so hard to get to prepare for this kind of engagement. And LGD can play like this until the Aegis runs out, which I imagine they would try to look for a fight before the Aegis does run out. But they're definitely playing very, very safe.
I mean, this is one thing with the Spirit Spam and the Stomp, you can
Yeah.
kind of hold the lane very, very safely from a distance.
Yeah, when Elder Titan was a popular hero in pubs, I just remember how annoying it was to push high ground.
But back in the day, it used to be the maxed out Spirit would instantly wipe a wave, wouldn't it? Almost.
Almost.
Yeah.
And that's not counting into Aether Lens and the,
Yeah, with the Aether Lens.
that's
that
even
was-
more annoying on top of that. Although I'm still not sold that Aether Lens was the item this game.
Oh, we might see your opinion change if they could go on this. They can't.
EG is just hoping and praying that they could hold out till the Aegis runs out, and they've actually done quite a good job in doing so.
Yeah, it's certainly proven to be difficult for LGD to try and get themselves up. The one thing that did work for them was the whole kind of just morphling, pressuring a different lane, drawing the attention of EG down one, and maybe kind of the difficulty for the side of the Dire comes to holding 2 lanes at the same time. That's where
Top lane,
the
are they
weakness
something
is.
happening there? Setting the range racks. All right, fun little fact, there is a double damage rune on the bottom half of the river. And the Radiant team does see it, so I don't know if they want to make that trek. But I think the Aegis is about to run out, and maybe it's time to back off for LGD. Farm a little bit, get the next wave of items.
That's easy.
Oh. That was 2 side blades. He's down to half.
Does need to be careful. At the same time, with LGD's draft, do you feel that there's any pressure really to finish up the game? I mean, they've got a TN and a Morphling against, I guess, the scariest late game, probably really the Juggernaut. I mean, they're almost certainly quite comfortable taking this as long as they will need to, aren't they, LGD?
I would think that they could take it for maybe 20 to even maybe 30 more minutes, because if you look at TIE Hunter, he's a fearsome late game hero. You could get a Refresh Orb, and suddenly that's double Ravage. Morphling, to me, has a lot more room to grow still. Like, you get a couple more items. TA is fairly maxing out, right? Like, TA has maybe 1 slot left. But, you know, Night Stalker could get up there, and same thing with the Witch Doctor. So, I think the Radiant side is... yeah, Witch Doctor...
Oh, they're jumping it onto Sylar here.
Okay. He's got Replicate.
He's fine. Yep, he's out. This has now been put now with the
Blade.
diffuser. Wait for him in a
Swap.
second. He
Black
pops
hole.
the BKB here. Oh, Fear! The reaction time's hitting him with his age. A little bit slow there for the man, unfortunately, and now it could be EG in trouble. RTK moving in with the gush. RTK and burst it down. That aura there from Elder Titan ripping him to shreds there as the damage comes through from EG. Sylar taking an Omni Slash to the face, pops the Manta, and there with the split, bursting him down low. They have found themselves 2 kills, and EG continuing to clean up. Sylar getting bursted as well, and hang on! EG! It was all a ruse there, the black hole. They didn't even need to hit it.
False sense of security setting up here against LGD. They're chasing for more, and we're understanding why of the Diffusal Blade buy. It's to pop the Linkens anytime he wants. In fact, good TP out here from the Witch Doctor, but they don't care. They're going in. In fact, are they going for the throne? They are.
No, I think.
Okay.
Where'd you go? I want the Witch Doctor.
I was like, that's a little ballsy to go for the throne right there, but. All right.
All right.
Tier 3s are being chopped down.
Suddenly, just like that, EG. And for me, that was the universe fight.
Oh.
That was the universe. He got his spirit in.
That's
the
true.
aura just absolutely made LGD crumble like paper to the damage of EG. And then the split as well. It bursted Morphling down. Bam! Just like that.
Yeah, Sylar came back in with the cheese, right? I think he had a cheese in his inventory during the fight. It's like, okay, I'm full HP. I'm Morphling. You know, let me come back in. Also,
that's why you picked the Elder Titan, I think.
That's the not just the aura. That also the ultimate also hit on the Elder Titan. That also does percentage of damage. So,
Morphling got to be careful. And here's what we're talking about. Sonny RTZ, top of the net worth. He's, after that fight, bounced straight up on top of the Scotty. He literally picked up the Scotty before that fight. Now he's got 4.1k gold on top. I mean, where does he go for now? Let's have a look at his inventory again.
He's maxed out, right?
Has he still got room?
I guess you
Treads the bots. And then, I mean, do you just, I guess, get rid of the Diffusal? Or you get rid of Battle Fury and get something else? Or do you feel you need to keep hold of the Battle Fury in these fights?
I think since you haven't lost a lane of racks, in theory you could give up the Battle Fury because you might not need a cleave, but it's also giving him what, plus 60 damage.
It is, and
that's not bad. You can also like keep
pushing
out fast. And you can make the argument that you give up
with the Omni Slash,
the Diffusal Blade, but it's done. I mean, he's out of charges, so maybe that's the reason you give it up. Because a Basher would be very good and into Abyssal Blade. It makes more and more sense about the Diffusal Blade. Like, you could, in theory, if you find the Morphling by himself, you break the Linkens with the Diffusal charge, and then you just go ham. I don't know. Maybe this is where you start to get, you know, into the 6-7 slot territory. You just have a, you know, a BKB in your Courier, a Refresh Orb in your Courier. RTZ is quite familiar, though, with this kind of late game item purchases, so we'll see.
After that fight, you got a Scythe on the Elder. Universe going to be even more impactful in the next fight. And look at that swing. Look at that swing. LGD, they had 10k built up and bam, just like that, gone.
Yeah. Again, though, late game is all about vision. And again, we've been mentioning that both teams has quite a bit
ups
of
and downs.
To be fair, I do want to be on the side of the Night Stalker. Not only are you getting vision, you are limiting vision as well. Oh,
that's easy.
See, if it's not Night Stalker vision, they would see.
He's got the Diffusal onto RTK.
They don't see anything.
Force forward.
They're just so blind. All right, they see RTK.
RTK blinks in. There's your Omni. RTK won't be able to tank that. Again, the Spirit are helping out, knocking back some of that base armor away from the Tide.
Does the man have buyback?
He does. He'll buy back straight away. PPD actually swapping MOY in, but MOY gets himself out, and that's going to be PPD just sacrificed. Just like that, RTZ. Blade throwing EG. What's the plan? They want to try and fight. They do have a black hole, but no, Universe is out. Fear TPing out as well. Universe will escape. Fear as well. RTZ has been left behind here. Artur's like, boys,
no
where's my
charge.
boys? Gone! He's down for 110 seconds as well. He does have buyback on this Juggernaut. And he might be forced to use it here if LGD can get something going. And this is a bit of a painful time as well for the side of EG because Roshan is going to be up in less than a minute. So LGD might be ready to take that.
Yeah, maybe you should just throw a trap into the pit.
buy back straight
force
away.
it out. Because EG doesn't know when Roche is spawning, so they don't know if LGD is doing it right now. Again, surprised to see no traps in the Roche. Never mind, because we might see it just another fight breaking out. Again, no vision for Universe.
Oh, Universe jumped on 1, 2, and he does not have buyback. Fear looking for the black hole, but he only gets MMY. LGD, they're just going to look to fight around it. RTK falling low, pops the back, will still survive. Fear getting two shot there by maybe on the TA. PPD getting nuked down. This will be a dieback if he doesn't fall, but he does get the swap. Back up to the high ground, he keeps himself alive. But EG, 2 heroes down, neither with buyback available, but they did manage to knock out the Tidehunter. And he himself is down for just as long. LGD, they will be able to use this time to go for Roshan. There's now Moonshards on maybe as well. This is going to be the Aegis of Cheese.
Bye-bye, Roche.
But the question is, do you think LGD try and go for something again as a 4-man without the Tide? Or do you think we'll see them play safe?
I think you wait.
You wait.
It's just safer, much safer to wait. It's rare to see in this late game scenario for both big AoE ultimates to really whiff, right? The Ravage hit absolutely nobody. The Black Hole only hit 1.
Yeah, only got the Witch Doctor.
And I don't think he even died during the Black Hole. So both teams just positioning extremely well. And is this...
Oh.
I don't think it's Divine.
This is Abyssal Blade Relic first, surely. I don't think this is Rapier.
He's going to go BLTs as well, selling his treads.
Unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
All right, sell treads to buy treads.
Sell treads to buy treads.
All right. I mean, gold doesn't really matter because he's already 6 slotted, and he already used his buyback for the next, 7 minutes? So sometimes you got to just TP home, man.
And the Rapier Dream isn't alive here, but
understandably,
the Abyssal is the smarter choice here. We know that he can already do the damage, especially with the aura from Universe, ripping down the base armor.
All right. The armor items are coming out at 50 minutes in the game, and honestly, I think that's already quite late. Again, you want all plus armor against Outer Titan, so the Vlad's very helpful. ACs down the line would be great. Or AC already
got
finished.
AC on maybe,
yeah, maybe.
TA picked it up.
But the Hexes are also coming out.
Double X, we haven't got any Lotus Orbs being worked on or out at all on LGD either.
No, I don't think
so the Hexes are going to be an issue. Obviously just the Lincolns on Sylar to help him. The BKB on the 2 cores as well.
Ooh, also, Vengeful Spirit working towards Ags.
I mean, we were talking earlier about, obviously, the combo with the Enigma Black Hole. You know, swapping people in. If you've got a 10-second cooldown,
sure,
you can be able to easily do that every time the Black Hole's available.
Not only that, you know, Venges have been blown up immediately, right? But now you got a second Venge hanging out about with the Ags.
That's, yeah.
And that Venge, Illusion Venge, could still swap, could still throw out stuns and stuff. That's if he gets to finish the Ags, because here comes LGD.
LGD ready to jump. They'll jump in the Ravage. Onto 3. Oh, the Side Blaze! Double kill for maybe. They'll get off the Black Hole. It's onto DDC. Can they actually kill this Night Toxic Crane? The damage! Oh, Fear! Triple killers, maybe! Finding them all. PPD's down as well. Ultra kill. They do manage to burst the Aegis here. RTZ's going to run though. LGD's chasing. RTZ, the lonely boy, all on his own here. LGD looking to finish this one up if they can find it. RTZ's trying to buy space, trying to buy time, but bam! Rampage from Baby! He's done it! They've done it! LGD destroying EG in those final few minutes, and game 2 is over. We're going to a game 3, Lumi. What a series it's been so far. I cannot wait.
And our monitors
have just died. It's that exciting.
It doesn't
They've
matter.
Gone.
Okay,
we can't see. I don't know if you can see us. I don't know if you can see LGD. They've got to be happy with that game. Sylar Morphling. HDMI Het Suhada.
Okay, is it Sylar Morphling or is it maybe?
Maybe TA. I think it's the combination. I think just the fact that you get those 2 players on such comfort heroes, and they just blew away EG with that performance. With EG, they held their own. By no means was it a stomp. It was a very close, action-packed game, back and forth.
During the mid-game, there was that one fight where just everybody on the side of Radiant just died. I'm going to answer the question I asked you earlier throughout the mid-game. Was the Universe Elder Titan the pick?
We did see fights where it looked really good.
Everybody just got blew up.
You could tell what they were doing with the Elder Titan, the Zeus and such. But at the end, it wasn't enough.
No, it was not.
You just begs the question, in the next game, are we going to see the Morphling banned out? Are we going to see the TA maybe touched upon as well?
I think it's worth a bank. Again, they had every counter for the Morphling.
And
it
still,
wasn't enough.
Sylar, he knew what he was doing. He's played against every hero in the book. He's used to it all. And guys, well, as he said, the monitors are still dead, but we'll probably pass over to the panel or a break, so Enjoy the break, lads. We'll be back with some more Dota 2 Game 3 of EG versus LGD round the corner.